Hey, it's Christopher McCord here from So You Want to Play Guitar. Today I'd like to do something a little different. I'd like to show you or give you some tips on how to learn a song. And when I say a song, I mean any song. Um, I'm going to refer to a chart, what I call a chart, a song chart, for the song Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer. But this can be for any song at all. And I'm going to be screen sharing. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Let's see here. Yeah, let's do desktop. Okay, and just give me a minute to. Hmm. Okay. So, this is a chart, and you can see that this is the way I usually do it. I'll just get the lyrics, and then I'll write in the chords. I do it that way because most of the people who post lyrics and words, who post lyrics and chords, the chords are not exactly over the right words. And, when it comes down to really learning a song, putting together the guitar part and the vocal, having that really clear and precise is important. It's gonna like mess you up if it's off. So that's the reason why I write in my own chords. Um, for a song like this, where it's got like a riff. Let me see, what is that? So this riff right, you might need to refer to tab. You might need to go and get some tab. So if you don't know how to read tab, that's a good thing to get a handle on. Otherwise, just a chord chart like this in lyrics will do you fine. Okay, so the first thing, so once you got you got your chart, the first thing you want to do is just like a basic orientation is you want to determine what key the song is in. Excuse me. And there's various ways of doing that. Lots of times it'll be the first chord of the song, but not always. Um, it happens that this song is in C sharp, and if you play the guitar part, it's like you can hear it ends up in E over here, but C sharp is actually the relative minor of E, and the song is basically in C sharp. So it's important just to get a general, to like know what key you're in. Why is it important to know what key you're in? Well, if you're going to play with somebody else, it's important um, that so that you can communicate that to them. Let's see, what else? What's another reason for knowing the key you're in? Um, it's like a general orientation, and if it's like home, your key is home. And so in a song, it's important to know when you've come back home, when you've modulated away from it and you've come back home. That's the best that I can do for describing, why to know what key you're in. But that's all I'm going to do with that right now. The next thing that's important to know is your meter, right? And specifically, I mean, most music in our pop culture is uh, is 4/4. You know, sometimes you have songs that are in three, or six, and it's important to know that ahead of time. You can kind of like be playing this thing, for a while and not even knowing that it's in three, and then when you start trying to put things together, it gets really confusing. So this song, just so you know, we get like sort of an example of what how to figure this out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you can also count that like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. So after you establish those two things, then the next thing is to start learning the sections of the song. And by sections, I mean a verse. These two are verses. Here's a chorus, right? Here's two more verses and a chorus. But this is a bridge, right? So instead of trying to learn the whole song at once, I'm gonna start off and I'm just gonna learn this verse. Well, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna learn the intro, right? Which is that you get it's right. So that's that's just like the intro that's going to happen throughout the song. Um, it's very similar to the verse, but it's not the verse. The verse goes, um, "It's not a silly little moment. It's a song for the come." Right. So it's basically the verse is the chords of the intro without the riff. Because I mean, you could put that riff. It's not a silly little moment. It's not the song before the calm. You could put the riff in there, but it sort of detracts from the lyrics, and it's also harder to play. When you're trying to sing and do it at the same time. So that's the verse. And then you've got we're going down. So it's important. There's some chord. Um, so the chords, if you notice in the here, I'll use my. If you notice here in the chorus, we've got a B going for 8, but then this C sharp, that's a 3 right there, and the A is 5. So there's what I'm doing there is I'm writing down the beats on each chord. We're going down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most often you're going to find like even kind of counts on each chord, fours or eights and stuff like that. But sometimes you've got songs like this where the chords they change. It's split up differently, and it still adds up to 8, right? A 3 and a 5 adds up to an 8, but it's the chords are split up differently. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And if you don't know that, and if you don't write that down, it's going to be hard to play this this guitar track. Um, and the idea here is that you're going to try to get the guitar track going and stable, and then you're going to add in the vocals over the top. But if the guitar track is not stable, if it doesn't provide a foundation, then when you try to sing, it's like the whole thing starts moving around and it basically falls apart. So that's so you're learning each section at a time, right? And then if you notice in the bridge, the bridge is different again. It's the chorus starts with a B, the verse starts with C sharp, and that should be a minor right there. Um, and then the bridge starts with an F sharp minor. So we've got, and if you notice, we've got some uneven measures here too. So it's like, go cry about it, why I told you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go cry about it, why don't you? Right. So once again, we're learning each section, and once we get the sections, then we can put together the arrangement. Then we learn, oh, this song starts with an intro, then it's a verse, then there's another verse, then there's a chorus, then there's going to be right here, that intro is going to come in again right here. I didn't write that down, but see there the intro, and you could write that down, that the intro is right there. And then you're going to have another two verses, and then chorus, and then a bridge, and then you're going to go back. This is actually a chorus too. It's just it's not singing through the whole thing. And then you've got a kind of an outro here. That's the arrangement, okay? So once you get the guitar track, sort of solid with an arrangement, then it's time to start putting some energy, and you continue working on that, because you want to get that to the point of where you kind of don't have to think about it. It's under your belt, and then you can start putting attention towards your lyrics. Now you might be the kind of person who the singing comes easily to, and you might already know the song and know how to sing it, or know how to sing it for the most part. Well, that's a good thing. The first thing you want to, but what you want to be doing, and you might also might think that you know the song. You might think that you know how to sing the song. But the test is because you can sing along with it. But the test is to actually turn off the music and sing the song a cappella by yourself, right? Having the lyrics memorized is a really good thing. It's another thing. It's another element of the whole mix, that if you have the lyrics memorized, then you're not trying to remember the words, looking at a chart and reading the words while you're, trying to remember the guitar part, while you're trying to remember the vocal part and the things like pitch and phrasing. So memorizing the lyrics and being able to sing the song a cappella, is getting that done ahead of time is a good thing. And doing that separately from the guitar part, kind of isolating the two, is a good thing, because you want to get both of them sort of stable, and then when you put them back together, hopefully they're going to fit together without too much difficulty. But when you're working on your vocal part, so say you've got that kind of down, and you've got your vocal part, and you can sing it a cappella, you even got it memorized, and you put it back together. The first thing you want to pay attention to is the phrasing, right? So, which is it's like da 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 da, right? So there's that da 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 da. Da, 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 right? That's the rhythmic phrasing of the vocal line. And if you notice, here's the chord, and the vocal line starts back here. So these are called pickup notes. So it's not so the beat, it actually goes 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a silly, and silly comes in on 1. Silly little moment, 3, 4. It's not the storm, and once again, you've got some pickup notes before the chord comes in. So this stuff is really important to pay attention to, that when you have pickup notes, or sometimes you'll have you'll have a song where the words come in after the chord. It's like you go, come in after the chord. It's really important to note that. We have a tendency when we learn the guitar part, and then we learn and we have the vocal part, that we want to kind of like make it all kind of the same, and that's good music is not like that. In good music, there's an independence between the instrument, the accompanying instrument, and the vocal part. So okay, so you got phrasing, you got pickup notes, and you got starting after the downbeat. Once you get the phrasing down, right? Then it's not a silly. So and then it's time. Say it's not a silly little. You might find yourself singing up there, but it's not actually. It actually the pitch, the starting pitch. It's not. So you find that out by listening to it, and you find that note on your instrument. So right there, I found that starting note is a G sharp. It's the first fret of the third string, right? So I would want to, if I'm having trouble singing that first note, getting that, I want to put. You could see I've done it over here. I've put a G sharp, right, in parentheses, and I put those singing notes. I put them in parentheses just to differentiate them from the chords, so I don't like think, oh, it's a G sharp something. It's but it's important to get, if you're having trouble getting that starting note, then you figure out what it is and you write it down on your chart. So you check yourself. It's like if I go, it's not a silly little mo-, I go, is that right? And I go, no, it's there. It's not a silly little moment. And usually, if you're a decent singer, usually if you get that starting note, you kind of you're in the ballpark, and it works from there. Let's see what else. Yeah, like I was saying, basically the way this works, the way you put together a instrument track, like a guitar track, and and the vocal, is you get both of them sort of independent, or and then you get one to be sort of go under your belt or to go unconscious, and then you focus on the weaker one. So for this song, it's not a silly. Yeah, they're about equal for me. It's not a silly little moment. It's not the song before the come. This isn't. So it's and but I think the guitar is probably more sort of can go unconscious quicker for me. So I will try to get that guitar track and get it just really really get really comfortable with the guitar track. And once you get, it's like you got the parts all working together. You coming in the right pitch, your phrasing's good. You don't find yourself like dropping, or like you don't find the guitar part falling apart when you try to sing. It's all coming together. Then one thing you can do in terms of performance, this is kind of a deep and profound little performance tip, which is that you ask yourself, how do I want people to feel when I play this song? So with this song, slow dancing in a burning room, this song is about there's a certain kind of it's a bit sad, it might even be a little excuse me, depressed. It's but I think you got to think of your audience, and you don't want the song to be a downer for them. So but you want them to feel, the essence of the song. Um, and so, the, and this is what's called an objective. You decide what feeling you want them to feel, and maybe I want them to feel tender. That it's like there's just kind of a tenderness um, in this song, and that's what I want to focus on. So then when I sing it, it's not a silly little moment. It's not the storm before the calm. This is a deep dying breath of this life we've been working on. And you just kind of keep that you kind of project that feeling out to your audience. You try to you're sometimes it's about feeling it yourselves, but sometimes it's just about um, leading your audience to that feeling, and that's what's called an objective. And so after you have that objective, then the last step of these tips is to just get out there and play it, for somebody. And maybe that somebody is your cat, or your dog to start, or maybe you want to just get on Zoom like this. Everybody's got a Zoom account these days. Just um, go in there, just open up your own session and press record and record it, and if you like it, send it to somebody, or if there's somebody, if you have a housemate, you can play it for them, just or if of course if you're in a relationship, you could play it for or a family member. But it's important to share the song. It's like it completes the cycle. There's a fulfillment that happens when you start and you learn the song. You learn a song from start, and the finish of it is to share it with someone. So I'm going to stop my share. Once again, these are tips for learning a song. And my name is Christopher McCorer, and from So You Want to Play Guitar.com, and I hope this has been helpful.